Hi everyone, my name is Han. I'm going to talk about some of the thrillers that we've encountered, which is to prevent a daily flood in an Italian town. So first off, let's discuss SCADA, right? So SCADA, as most of you have heard, it's basically supervisory, control, and data acquisition, right? It falls into the realm of OT. It controls systems. Don't think about it just as industrial systems, but building systems, your heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, chemical plants, and nuclear plants as well. So if you remember, there was this attack against a nuclear plant in Iran. So if you remember the nuclear attack, or it's not nuclear attack, Stuxnet attack against the nuclear plant in Tehran, right, in Iran, right, especially the Natas as well, right? They rumored it's still alleged, it's a US and Israel attack. That's SCADA, right? That's the SCADA systems. So we knew that there was there's viruses that can cross the air gap, right? So there was a discussion about air gap earlier, later in the panel as well, right? So it can cross that gap because there was a thumb drive that was plugged into an air gap systems and a virus got through, right? So this virus was first discovered in 2010, but it was rumored, again, in development since 2005. So if you think about it, SCADA systems today control a lot of our environments, right? Your heating and ventilation systems, your air conditioning, building systems, and so forth, and environments. It controls a lot of how our everyday lives are. Now into the thriller. How did it all get started? So what we did, our threat researchers, was basically pulling up our tool, attack surface intelligence tool, that allows us to kind of look at different IP addresses, what's out there, and so forth. So they were just simply doing a search, SCADA. Just a simple search on SCADA. Came back with multiple IP addresses. So basically when we did the research and we looked through it, right, we found thousands of systems, security cameras, your heating, ventilation, control systems that had zero authentication, completely freely accessible on the internet, right? So anyone could access the systems, typing in the IP address, the port number, and the system just showed up on the browser. Anyone, right? So of course, as we walked through it and as we looked through this data, we stumbled upon the hydroelectric water dam, right? And we stumbled upon the control panels here that had everything open, right? All the buttons to turn on the water valve, right? You can basically control the chemicals in the plant, right? Because you're filtering water as well for the town itself, and you have all of that, right? You can let the gates flood. So this was really scary, right? Because imagine the consequence if the bad guys did it and they could stop the water, they could flood the town, or even worse, cause a loss of life, right? So basically, where our researchers came in was basically no messing around. We wanted to figure out what's happening. So remember, at this point in time, what we had was just a single IP address, nothing else, right? So we started to look around, where is this IP located? Okay, geolocated in Italy. What organization was running the dam, right? How do we reach out to them? How do we know what it is, right? There was no details. It's just a control panel that we have access to. We know the IP. We could geolocate it. We could see the telco and so forth. So basically what we did was we reached out to the telco. Didn't help. Telco didn't respond to our help. We reached out to our customers even, right, that were based in Italy. We reached out to our teams in Italy. Finally, we found someone that operated the dam. It was a small town in Italy. I won't name names, right? It was a small town in Italy. They operated the dam. We reached out to them, and basically they said, oh, we just launched this software a couple of weeks ago. It worked really well, but something fell off because it was just too easy. Of course it was easy, right? There's no user authentication, everything worked, you can access it very easily and all of that. And when we asked them, why do you want to set up the systems? Why do you want to put it on the internet? They basically said they wanted to work from home. That was the reason why they installed the software. And I can imagine all of you collectively going, right? That facepalm moment when you realize that because they wanted the convenience of working from home, they converged an OT system and put it online with no user authentication, right? That's the scary part. The problem is that's just one case we found, right? There's so many different systems that is still out there, right? So many exposed systems that's waiting to be exposed and discovered. You have building systems, air conditioning, water valves as well, right? So we saw chemical plants, we also engaged with that. And that's really, really scary because if you think about it, right now, ransomware is kind of the least of the problem, right? Imagine it's a terrorist attack, right? It's even worse, right? If terrorists get smarter, this will be the next type of attack. It's a digital attack, it's very hard to detect because it's freely accessible on the internet. So what's even worse than that is if search engines like Google, Bing, spiders this site, and anyone, even a kid, can search through the Google itself for this type of sites, that's a scary thought as well, right? So we start to see a lot of this happening. And what we try to do and how we collected this data is because we have sensors across the world that allows us to scan every IP address, every 7 days or so, look at thousands of ports and be able to see all of that data, right? So one of the things that we have done here is to, of course, use AI to process that, right? Because there's no way you can do human to kind of correlate the information and be able to see all of that. We also do have malware connections, so we see all of that traffic across the board. So as we look through all of that, what we try to do is to bring that data into an easily consumable format, right? We do it today for about 12 million organizations, and you can very easily see where the security posture of those companies are, right? So we saw it for the operator as well. They were scoring a big fat F, which is not just the security maturity of the organization, but also the likelihood of breach, right? So we can see all of that across the organization and be able to then see that. So in the event that you think I'm pulling your leg here, right, it's been validated. We are one of the leaders in the Forrester New Wave. We've seen Gartner's and World Economic Forum. We've presented this data as well. And of course, because we do have a bit of time, some of our customers, just moving on quickly, right, just to show you a snapshot. So we have a bit of time left, right? So one of the interesting things that we see from this data, just simple trivia, is that sunlight reaching Earth takes about 8 minutes and 20 seconds, right? That's 150 million kilometers. Attackers go under that in about 5 minutes, right? So attackers are able to search through your attack surface, look for vulnerabilities in about 5 minutes. That's faster than even the sunlight reaching Earth, right? So attackers have that capability today. And of course, with AI, attackers are building the evil version of AI. Most of us have interacted with the ChatGPT, right? It's helpful in the work, but there's evil versions of that that's being built, right, for the attackers as well. And you can see all of that being on the internet. Some of them are talking about it. Another fun trivia from the from the data that we see is that we all know that threats today are global in nature, right? So most of the attacks are global in nature. But interestingly, a lot of threats, 24% of the threats come from China, and 15% of the threats come from Russia. So these are new statistics that we just announced at RSA this year. And for IoT alone, we see attempts and exploitation attempts every 60 seconds or so, right? So this is, again, just fun trivia from the data points that we're seeing. And of course, if you don't have any businesses or you don't have any collaboration with these two countries, you should block access and requests coming from these countries as well. And with that, thank you very much.
The cybersecurity landscape is constantly changing. In order to succeed, everyone must adapt and work together, embracing new modern collaboration methods. SecurityScorecard empowers organizations with capabilities that seamlessly fit into their existing processes, provide actionable insights, and help them collaborate effectively to win as a team. Gain insight into the cyber health of any organization with SecurityScorecard's easy-to-understand A to F ratings. With our updated product suite, cybersecurity can be an asset for everyone. Segment access by teams and gain clarity around historical remediation activities to ensure accountability and transparency. With the unique invited company experience, we can enable global partners to see their scorecards, fix threats, and respond to customizable questionnaires instantly mapped to cybersecurity ratings. Try SecurityScorecard today to modernize your operations. When you collaborate, everybody wins, and making the world a safer place.